significant portion of my adult life, I walk by a playground and want to go out and climb and swing and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure some of the parents in the area would look at me rather strangely if I did that. If somebody says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And you go, "I'm just running and jumping," then you sound like a bit of a lunatic. I climbed on anything, and I dropped down off of 6 or 7 foot walls without like rolling or anything, just like take the whole thing on my feet. But I was a kid, I didn't know any better.
Parkour was founded officially in France probably 20, 30 years ago by a kid named David Bell and his friends.
The definition I sort of jokingly give is it's the fine art of running away as invented by the French. It's kind of how to get from point A to point B as the crow flies as efficiently as possible.
There we go, good.
You can just go out and play in your environment. It's play for adults. It's people going out and using their bodies the way it was meant to be used.
Some people are sensation seekers, and I think those people gravitate to sports like parkour.
They are developing a side of themselves that nothing else in their life gives them an opportunity to completely challenge themselves and find out what they're capable of.
The only person that I'm challenging is myself.
Adler said fear is a learned response to our environment.
With just a very small amount of sort of world experience, babies learn to avoid danger. They learn fear.
We're born with the capacity to develop fear, and then we learn how to develop fear.
I have a big fear of rails. Because late last summer I was balanced on a rail out by this high school, and my feet just completely shot out from under me, and I caught the rail right between my hand. And so now I broke my hand, kind of sucked. And now ever since then I have a bit of post-traumatic stress disorder when it comes to rails.
Adults have synaptic connections that have been really strengthened over time, and they're very powerful. For an adult, it's not a question of getting rid of a fearful thought. It's actually developing a strong, powerful second alternative thought.
I have to turn my mind off. I literally have to stop thinking entirely, otherwise I can't do it.
You're physically capable of doing it, you just need to kind of get over yourself.
Yes, I started out much more fearful of certain moves when I started, and have learned that I am capable and have become capable of doing them. It's really just having fun. It's really playing. Kids, when they'll go outside and play, they'll just try anything. I was always mostly out in the woods a lot as a kid, running around and climbing things and climbing up into trees. And we had these old white pine trees where I used to live, and I'd climb up into the top branches and go out on the edge and just drop down because the branches got wider as they got down, so you could just sort of roll down the outside, and it was fantastic. And that sort of tapered off at a certain point in your life. People start wondering why the heck you're jumping out of a tree.
We hung some swings from the trees, and one of the swings is one of those with a long rope and just the round seat at the bottom. And because of the way the branches are, it goes way up, you know. And I thought, oh, isn't this nice? The children will get on the swing and they'll just swing back and forth right here. Well, within 5 minutes, the kids are climbing up the stoop, jumping off the stoop and swinging out over the car. And I'm thinking, man, I was so thinking like an adult, not like a child. It was a duh moment. Of course, that's the best way to use this swing.
Whenever you've overcome a fear, whenever you've challenged yourself to do something that you're not quite sure you could do, then you get a much bigger feeling of satisfaction, for sure. That overcoming the fear adds a little bit of spice to it.
We've switched over from a life that used to be primarily one of physical exertion to a very sedentary lifestyle with very little physical exertion. And that closes off this whole area where people can challenge themselves and grow their courage and get to know more about themselves and what they're capable of.
So there are still things I'm afraid of, fewer and fewer as I continue to train.
The adults that say that would have to rediscover their courage. They would have to either set aside or choose to ignore those decades of training. Be careful, watch what you're doing, don't fall, don't get hurt, do it the safe way, and have the courage to take a risk again and kind of push the envelope to make it more exciting. Life needs to be a little harder than what it is now, because otherwise it's just not that interesting.
And there have been a couple occasions where I turn to make a jump and hesitate, and you just need to kind of throw yourself into it.
You ready to do this?
I think so. We got our little helmet cam.